Now that we've created a few of our design layers, it's time to start putting those together in our presentation. As you know, we've worked on several different design layers for this project. We've already got our rendering done. We have a view that we can do to show the interior kitchen and bathroom details with the roof off. And we have design layer with our floor plan on it. So we're ready to start making this sheet right here. This is just called a sheet layer. It's different than a design layer in the fact that we can present multiple views of an object on a sheet layer. We can show them with different rendering formats. In other words, we could have Final Quality RenderWorks, OpenGL, and Wireframe all on the same page. We can even use different scales, which we'll be doing for this project. Right now, the center rendering is at a scale 1/4 inch equals a foot. That one's going to stay at a 1/4 inch equals a foot, but every other viewport that we create for this is going to be at the scale 3/16 of an inch equals a foot. And I'm going to show you how to do that. The difference also between a design layer and a sheet layer is that we can't do any work on this sheet layer. This is just to present our final project. If I wanted to, for example, remove these two patio umbrellas in this view, I couldn't do it here. It won't let me select those. It'll only let me select this viewport. I would need to go back to design layer 1 and remove those umbrellas. Then they would be going in this sheet layer as well. Think of it as just these are windows that look back into all of our selected design layers. That's what a sheet layer is. So we're going to make one of those for the project that I've been using as a sample, but I just wanted you to understand what viewports are. They're these windows, individual windows back to our design layers. Let's open that project up and take a look at it. So you're familiar with this project. This is the one that I've been using as the sample. And what I want to try to do right now is create a viewport of the house with the roof on. So over in my layer options, I have the design layer 1 and the roof visible. I'm going to try to create a viewport with those two layers turned on. We're going to use a crop tool for these viewports that's the same size to this scale as an A-size piece of paper. So I'm just going to draw a rectangle, and I'm going to make that rectangle 44 feet wide, 34 feet tall, and that's going to be the viewport crop. Now I can move that around wherever I want. I'm going to move it up so I don't have any of the white space and try and get as much of the mountain view as I can. And try to center my house on it. And now this architectural rendering label probably won't show up in the viewport because I'm in a custom angle. So I may need to either redo that in the viewport or copy that in. But what I'm going to do now is select this 44 foot by 34 foot rectangle and use it as the viewport crop tool. So now all I'm going to do is go to View, Create Viewport. It'll ask if I want the selected object to be the viewport's crop, and yes, I do. Now, what it's going to do is automatically create a viewport. I'm going to suggest that you uncheck Create Drawing Label. We'll have our own drawing labels on these drawings. I'm going to just have that named as Viewport 1. I do want the scale to be 1/4 of an inch equals a foot on this one, but on all the others, like I said, we'll be changing that to 3/16 of an inch equals a foot. For this one, I'll leave it at 1/4 of an inch equals a foot. And I'll do Final Quality RenderWorks on my real project. I just have OpenGL right here just to speed things up a little bit. and I'm going to click OK. Now it's going to create a brand new sheet layer, which is what I want to do. And I'm going to click OK. And there is that viewport. Now to create the sheet layer size that we're going to use is going to be found under the File Page Setup. And what we're going to do is we're going to use US Architecture D. It'll be 24-inch by 36-inch size poster. Our paper roll on our plotter is 24 inches wide. So now you can see that. Put that viewport onto the page, and the page is really big, just like the poster size. Now we found to print these things, there are some specific locations that we need. So for this center viewport, what we found was that we just center it at 0, but 7/8 of an inch up on the page. So I'm going to move the size right now. Anytime that it has this red hatched box around the viewport, it just means that it needs to be updated. So when I click Update over here in the Object Info palette, there it is. There's Viewport 1. Now, I'm going to go back from Sheet Layer 1, and I'm going to go to my 2D diagram. And there's my 2D diagram layer. I'm going to do something similar. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create my crop size, 44 feet, 34 feet, center my drawing in there. And I'm going to go ahead and go to View, Create Viewport. Now this one, we are going to change it. Like I said, we're going to change this one to 3/16 of an inch equals a foot, so they all fit on the page. I'll click OK. And that creates Viewport 2. And now Viewport 2, I'm going to move the location, and I have the locations of all these written down here in the room for you. But for Viewport 2, found that that works pretty good. And we are going to want these crop lines to be visible. That's how we'll get started making your poster for your final presentation. I'm going to try to make just one more viewport up here. what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to create a viewport with the roof off. This used to give us a problem before. But I think with the updated version of Vectorworks, we can do this. I want to try and show my kitchen in this view. And I'll probably end up doing 2 different viewports to do that. Let me use this one right here for now. Again, I'm just going to draw in my crop tool. I'll move that where I want it. And what I'm trying to do is show off the interior of my kitchen, some of the different flooring materials. And there is the viewport that's going to go right up here. I'll change the scale on that and update it and put it where it needs to be. But that's how we create viewports.